I'd like to start by saying that the ASISA Foundation, from its very outset, had a learning culture, a measurement culture, and an evaluation culture as part of its organization DNA. And what I mean by this is that from year one, when we all started with the pilot in Hammond's Crawl, the investment in monitoring, evaluation, and learning was held as a priority by Ruth and all of the colleagues. So we were not asked to cut corners on measurement and evaluation. In fact, every step along the route from year one was to make sure that the monitoring evaluation partner, as the monitoring evaluation partner, we would be able to gather the relevant data that would help to inform not only the reach and impact of the various different programs, but very importantly, the lessons learned, and to be able to understand what is working, what is not working and needs to be adjusted, so that there can be continued improvement and continued improvement to the implementation and strategy development for the ultimate greater impact that can be achieved. So all the way from year one, this was an embedded attitude and perspective of the foundation. And to be quite frank, many organizations claim to have this attitude and this approach, but very few actually uphold this at the time when it's needed. The ASISA Foundation, year on year, asks, what are the learnings? What have we achieved this year? What can we do better? And really seeks to attend to these lessons and implement changes for each next iteration. And so this has been really and truly a 10-year journey, and every year, and I should say it's not actually only on the annual iterations. There are iterations throughout implementation every year, such that we're never at the end and have a surprise. The team is changing, iterating, and improving over time. So with the WageWise program in particular, we have trend analysis, not only of the increased reach year on year, but we also have trend analysis dating that we conducted a couple years back that shows that the knowledge transfer, the percentage of knowledge transfer, the percentage of folks that have shifted their attitudes and have intentions to change behaviors has increased year on year. And so again, that impact has been adjusted and changing every year. So I would say that this core part of the ASISA Foundation DNA around evaluation and learning has been upheld throughout, and that investment has been made over the period of time together. The ASISA Foundation over the 10-year journey have evolved in their sophistication as it pertains to understanding the value of monitoring, evaluation, and learning processes. So many organizations, when they start out on the monitoring and evaluation journey, will stick very much to a small number of quantitative metrics, but those quantitative metrics don't really tell you what any sort of depth or breadth of information about what is working or what these numbers mean to the citizens and the participants in the communities with whom we're working. And so over the journey with the ASISA Foundation is that the colleagues and the foundation as an organization has evolved in terms of its use of data and evidence, and understands that it's a real combination of mixed methods of different types of evidence that are really needed for the comprehensive and robust decision making that the team is committed to. So in terms of the ASISA Foundation and what sets it apart from others is that there is really a genuine and authentic attention and intention to put themselves in the shoes of the various different South Africans that we are trying to reach and support. And by that, I mean that there is an understanding of what is the life of a university bursar student. What is important to the life of the university student now? What is going to be important to them in 5 years? And what is going to be important to them as they then evolve in their life journey? As it pertains to workers, what is it that we really try and understand? How are workers dealing with their financial context? So workers have access to greater credit because they have access to pay slips, and so that is one of the greatest challenges that faces formally employed workers. So how can we adjust? How do we adjust the content and the messaging to the real life context of the folks to whom we're reaching? And there is that is what we discuss at the weekly meetings. We talk about what it's like for participants to enter into the workshops, some of the challenges that they face when they're off their job for a day because they're in the workshop. What does that mean to them? What does it mean when they take that information home to their families? And the team really and truly listens to this and feels this with their whole heart and their whole brains. And so it's a combination of this intent, this affinity to the participants, to South African, different groups of South Africans, and an emphasis on how the messaging lands with the participants that takes priority over how can we do this faster, cheaper, and recognizing that the quality and the impact is going to drop away. And that is something that I feel truly connected to, is keeping the participant, keeping the people that we are engaging with as front of mind in every single instance. That sometimes targets have to be pushed back on because there is a quantity-quality balance that has to be struck. And I really and truly believe that the ASISA Foundation is not going to let go of the quality and impact at the expense of increasing reach ineffectively. I personally have worked with the ASISA Foundation for the entire 10 years of our journey as Genesis Analytics. And in many instances, I should have moved off this project. Other folks could have taken a bigger role front and center. And yet I felt so connected to the ASISA Foundation. I feel connected to the program teams, to Ruth, to Janet, to Ivor, to Kuvi and others. I feel connected to our colleagues at Grounded Media. And I feel that that this is one of my career highlights, has been working with the ASISA Foundation. I feel that we truly have done incredibly impactful work and touched the lives of many, many South Africans. I feel that there is a relationship of trust, of kindness, of generosity, but yet we also have a culture where we can question each other and we can have robust discussions and debates about what the information and evidence is telling us, what are opinions and perspectives, and how do we digest all of those to make the right decisions going forward. And we have had instances where folks have needed to say, okay, we've gotten too heated, and the trust amongst that relationship they are some of my favorite professional colleagues I have had for my career, and colleagues that have become friends. And for me, that is the highlight of working with the ASISA Foundation, is that I believe it's truly a group of folks that genuinely care about the work and the impact and the people that we are trying to support in South Africa. Working with the ASISA Foundation has been critical to the Genesis Evaluation for Development growth and team. So we have also been developing and growing for about 10 years as the Evaluation for Development team. And what the ASISA Foundation has allowed us to do is provide a breeding and a training ground for young emerging evaluators. And what I mean by this is that we bring in young South African graduates on an annual basis into our teams, and many clients are apprehensive about having young people with limited professional experience because they're paying for professional consultants with all of the expertise being brought to them. And so it is often difficult to give young people the full experience of client engagement, be fully embedded in a steering committee, and have direct input and meaning in the project teams. And the ASISA Foundation team has been exceptionally supportive of young graduates starting with us right away, like 6 months within graduating from varsity, joining the ASISA Foundation M&E team, supporting the ASISA Foundation team, and welcoming them with whole hearts, allowing them to ask their questions, their emergent questions that show that they are learning from every moment. I've been able to give the young emerging evaluators opportunities to go to site visits, to conduct data collection at very early points in their careers. And this has been so exceptionally important for these young emerging evaluators, many of whom have stayed in the Genesis team, but many of whom have gone on to play really important roles as monitoring and evaluation professionals in other parts of South Africa. So we have colleagues that are now sitting in the monitoring and evaluation team at National Treasury. We have colleagues that are now M&E managers at NGOs around the country. And these are folks that cut their teeth and got their hands dirty with the ASISA Foundation from days outside of graduating. And I think that is one of the most special things that the ASISA Foundation has allowed us to do. I believe that monitoring and evaluation of financial education programs is fundamental, is critical, is a key component of implementing financial education programs. Because if you don't know if you're having any impact, what's the point of doing it? If you're doing something wrong and you're not monitoring and evaluating, you're going to keep doing something that's irrelevant or ineffective in perpetuity because you don't know, you're not learning from what you're doing. And so I think monitoring and evaluation and the learning and the feedback loops and the iteration that is enabled because of having data and evidence at our fingertips should be considered a core component of effective programming, a core component of effective strategy development. And without monitoring, evaluation, and evidence. What are you basing your decisions on? How do you know you're having any impact? So for me, it's fundamental, and the ASISA Foundation is not only a model of behavior within financial education, but the way ASISA Foundation treats evaluation and learning is a model for all organizations that are implementing development focused interventions.